Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This will be the first time I've ever dipped my toes into the deep water that is YouTube drama. And while I could care less, I think this is a common problem that obviously everyone comes across. So let's just go ahead and address my opinion of Syberbolt compared to the other pso content creators. Because I could just separate into three categories. Syberbolt's category, as far as I'm concerned, is a comedian. As far as I'm concerned. Sure, he might have some content that's really relevant to the game and stuff like that. Maybe informative to some extent. But, at least for me, when I go to Syberbolt, I go for the comedy. I actually liked his recent video, actually. And all the little skits he did in between and stuff like that. Until one day, I was unable to see any of his videos. He had to private all his videos because somebody thought it was a cute idea to copyright claim them. And the copyright issue on YouTube has always been a huge issue. Of course he could fight it, but of course that also involves him giving his information and stuff like that, and not everyone's willing to do something like that. To be doxxed and stuff like that. So in my opinion is, if you were to treat Syberbolt as a comedian that I think he is, maybe his words wouldn't hurt so much. Because as far as I'm concerned, the pso problem is a pso problem. It's not a Syberbolt problem at all. And it can really come down to you getting tired of Phantasy Star Online because maybe you're playing the game far too much, you know. But I guess the game keeps releasing new content too often. At least that's what I think about the Syberbolt situation. So by some miracle, the person who's doing this is actually seeing this video. You know, cut him some slack, man. Because him today could be somebody else tomorrow, as far as you're concerned, right? Everyone's gonna have their gripes about the game. Maybe for views and stuff like that. And maybe for other reasons. I'm thinking of him mentioning the word called doomers, which I didn't even think about at the time. People who just want to see the game fail. And stuff like that. Because as far as you're concerned, despite me being in an alliance that I've made, I mostly play for myself, as far as anyone's concerned. I play the game because just to pass some time, but I know the game's a little bit too meh, in my opinion, to go really deep into it. Like, it'd be great if I could just spend about, maybe 30 minutes or something and just complete everything I want to be completed. But I feel like that's not the case here. The game may not be dead, but the game is certainly boring. Or maybe even exhausting, which might be a better word, in my opinion. Because that's the root cause here. We believe that Syberbolt's words are really gonna hurt the game. Can we also believe that all the other content creators are hurting the game? To some extent? Or maybe it really is just you, as some YouTuber put it and stuff like that. I mean, my advice to you is to play the game when you feel like it. And when you don't feel like it, just don't play the game. You don't have to get online every single time. All these little silly rewards that Sega's giving you, it's not that important, really. It just ain't. We have the Lucille exploration thing now, right? Any kind of content that the seasonal stuff can bring, you know, is nullified. You can get pretty much every single piece of armor you finally need, and I'll say that that's probably the best content that the game has given us, period. And it will probably always remain as the best content until we get something similar about it. Now, before I go any further, I do want to talk about myself a little bit, about my opinion of Phantasy Star. I've definitely gotten tired of the game, and it is a little bit due to playing the game a little bit more than I expected, and stuff like that. Grinding out long and hard those silly events. And let's see, we could also talk about things such as the seasonal event that's going on right now. Because in the past, the seasonal events would allow me to go to any place I want to. And I could just get seasonal points. And that would be alright. Most people just go to the most popular place, take care of business, and be done. Just getting seasonal points no matter wherever. That's a little annoying. This even enemy right here doesn't even have a seasonal icon on them. It's just certain enemies. This one has it. But the thing, only in Alio. Like, what's up with that? Why is the seasonal content only take place in Alio only? Really couldn't take place anywhere else, huh? That's my biggest gripe. I mean, there are also some more serious issues with the seasonal events that I have with the game. I mean, on one hand, it's useful because I can teach newer players how to just buy the content. Because that's how I've always thought about Phantasy Star. There was no looking for rare drop rates or anything like that. It's always and has been about getting the money, buying your equipment, and that's pretty much it. Because there's no way on earth anyone's going to take the time to look for rare drop rates and stuff like that. Not without some type of boosters. But you can't always have boosters. You have to pay for those, you know? And most people don't even see a significant increase of that sort of thing. At all. So, that's just my opinion on it. On the Phantasy Star issue. Syberbolt, comedian. All the other YouTube, most of the other content creators, they're informative and stuff like that. Just treat Syberbolt as the comedian that he is, and you won't have a problem with what he has to say. Because from what I can tell, he certainly allows every sort of type of comment to exist. You know, we don't have to have these silly little allegations whatsoever. Unless, of course, you're forming it as a joke and not really using the allegation to actually harm his name and stuff like that. You can still call him a loser. A doomer. You can call him those things. Call him whatever. Don't make it into an allegation. Where it affects the man, generally. Where his content might be affected. Because some people were actually looking at his content and trying to get a little bit of enjoyment. I certainly wasn't getting any enjoyment from the other PSO content creators. Again, they're just informative is what it is. I mean, being informed is okay and dandy, but, you know, obviously that's boring. Because you listen to one, and, well, you've listened to them all as far as I'm concerned. And it really makes me wonder, why on earth am I listening to another guy after just listening to another guy, you know? Comes to a really annoying race of who creates the content first and stuff like that. And they can't get too far ahead either. None of them are hackers. They can only tell you about whatever's been released already, or what's been calculated in the in some PSO website that I have bookmarked somewhere, where it has all the weapons and all the equipment. I mean, you have to kind of do your own work in this game and stuff like that if you actually want to excel. But we'll put this in. Speaking of putting in the work, though, let's actually take a look at some of the community members, because the community does play somewhat of a role into this game. If you care to communicate with the community in the first place, because honestly, not everyone cares, man. Some people are just here for a little bit, take care of the story, and they're done, and that's pretty much it. People will probably come back for more story content, and some people will keep coming back for more events and such. But if you want my opinion about when this game started going, well, actually, I think I've already mentioned already. The seasonal event, like I said, was annoying. Only specifically Alio only. the brand new, super rare, 9-star weapon that almost no one can get their hands on is a bit irritating. Obviously, everyone wanted that weapon. The V weapon, the Vishmil something weapon. Maybe somebody has the weapon somewhere. It's some V weapon or something, like a Russian name. Anyway, that weapon is just like, sure, it's powerful, but the issue here is that it just takes too long to upgrade, you know. Like, I'm so used to just buying my stuff, buying my equipment, never looking for it. Honestly, I think you have to be crazy just to look for your content. And time again, I've found that out real fast, you know. I might have came in during a seasonal event, and that's just kind of how it's always been. Relying on the seasonal content just to keep up to date. Because, sure, this stuff is powerful, but you'll never actually, you know, be on the same level if people put, like, well, let's just be real here, like, years in investment into the game. Oh, and I'm also doing this because this is the almost absolute extent of how much I interact with the community, by the way. The absolute extent. I might just ask for somebody to join my alliance. At the very, very least. Other than that, you know, I don't really talk to anyone else. Sure, maybe an urgent quest, some people might want to stick around. I guess she said no, that's no big deal, whatever. I mean, it's kind of funny that some people do just kind of AFA into the game. And to all the people who are dressing all funny like, I mean, well, I would say just you do you, and I'll just keep on walking, in all honesty. I would talk to this guy, but unfortunately he's in an alliance, so I'm not really concerned about him. I mean, he's looking in my general direction, which is cute and all. So I'll just do this. Good thing I dodged that, by the way. He was getting ready to blow my brains out. Alright, enough of that. Let's see. What else I was gonna look at? Oh, did I mention I haven't even touched the limited time quest? Like, not once? And I'll explain to you why I haven't touched it in a while.
Hi.
Oh, what's it? Here. So I keep hating getting constant reminders of these weapons that I just will have a very small chance of getting. Really annoying. And based on the prices of the, personal shop, these are stupidly rare. I mean, obviously I want these. These are all whatchamacallit. This is like the new best armor. Armor fires, I don't really have to go out of the way to get them. You just go to the, Nuisance plant to take care of that. LC capsules, obviously we go to the seal place if we really want to take care of that. And then the arm scratch ticket. It's just like, no, man. I just don't feel like it.
Anytime.
Not at all. All the talk about negativity never really affected me. At all. Shouldn't affect you either. Even if you're a new person. I mean, after all, it's a free game. The only thing you got to lose in a free game is, well, your time, really. And when these events do happen, they try to condense all of the fun that you could possibly have into the game and give you all the good stuff as quickly as possible. Giving you the best possible armor. Close to the best possible armor in the game. Close to, the best weapon in the game. Temporarily, that is, until the seasonal events and everything goes back to normal. And I know this little rant and review is a little bit rusty and a little bit what's what I'm looking for? Unscripted, but that's just kind of how all my videos are. Unscripted. If anyone has to say, you're welcome to say it. Even if it's the worst thing possible. I'm down to hear it. I mean, at worst, I'll probably make an additional video about it. Putting a bit more effort into it. If it's necessary. But as far as I'm concerned, the situation does suck, man. Saberbolt's content was something I actually enjoyed in my spare time. I didn't really put too much thought about it. Just wanted to hear the guy's voice. And just rant about the game. Because he was a comedian. And that sort of thing was just funny to me. I'm not gonna get that kind of content from any other pso stuff. Like I said, there was this other guy who's kind of popular, whose name I can't really mention. I think it starts with a K, I believe. And, well, the worst he's really done is just voice his negative opinions about the, about some of the drop rates and stuff. You know, not really encouraging people to put more money into the game, at least when it comes to, like I said, I want to just type his name, just so I could say that. I really don't want to butcher his name too much. And then there was just some other female content creator, which is a little bit easier to pronounce, by the way. I think there was Shadow something, but up to the community. And she's only half right, I would say. It's not that, you know, it's up to the community. It's more of up to you, really. Specifically. Or maybe just is up to Sega. Because I look at it like this. No matter how much new content, or how much better the game could possibly be, the game has its issues. But those issues don't really start creeping up on you until, well, you keep playing the game consistently. Just take a break from the game. Even with me working with an alliance that I've created on my own, you know, I would still just not worry about it too much. Whatsoever. Now let's see. I'll end this video with just one last thing. Alright, to reiterate one last time about the person who supposedly did the copyright strike. Take a break, man. If you're on Syberbolt, as much as people think that you are, I would take a break, man. Because there's gonna be more. Where does your passion actually lie upon? Sega as a company, or Syberbolt? Because either one of those two can actually break your heart. As far as I'm concerned. They definitely can. You could put a whole bunch of time into Syberbolt and he could just betray your trust. You could put a lot of time into Sega and they could betray your trust. You know? But do you trust yourself? I mean, sure, it's so easy to dox a person because you have their information, but I don't know, man. Who's gonna actually go through the issue of doing something like that? Who's to say that Syberbolt couldn't just get a temporary location, then file the copyright thing, and just get away with it, you know? Not everyone's willing to just sit back there and just let stuff happen, you know? Maybe one day something bad really needs to happen. Like, really, really bad needs to happen. Someone needs to just go ahead and get their information, get someone in court, and just take care of this. And suffer some actual consequences that makes YouTube really think twice about this sort of thing. You know? Is that what you want to happen? I don't think anyone... I mean, some of us do want that to happen. So we can put an end to this copyright stuff. Verify information. which is kind of weird. I would think you would have to give away your information to the person in question who's copywriting your stuff. You know? Strange how it's the other way around. You can file the copyright claim. They can give falsified information. Oh, hey Phoenix. I just finished doing a I mean, I know this is yet another live stream, but doing a drama-related video, as opposed to my typical rants, even though it's kind of a mixture of both. Because this sort of stuff is kind of important, really. I mean, there have been plenty of other YouTubers that have been affected by the copyright laws and fake copyright claims. Yes, that's just something that happened because he's an officer over 30 days. I gotta send another video. Hold on a second. Hold on. I can't actually quite I just realized he's an officer over 30 days. I have to give him I can fix this. Let's see. Warning is... Anyways, real quick. Forgot he's guy's an officer. Update. Did YouTube give you a strike? No, it hasn't. And honestly, I don't think it really affects. And I'm glad you actually brought that up because I think copyright strikes only really affect you if you're making money to the game. For someone like me who doesn't really make money in the game, it doesn't really affect me. Obviously, I could just delete the video and care less about it. I would just make another video about it. Maybe it affects syberbolt because he's actually making money off of his content. Maybe. I mean, with all the cursing and stuff he was using, I can't imagine him doing that, really. I mean, honestly, he should just go straight to Rumble. I was thinking about even moving my content to Rumble. Might be fun, having a lot more freedom to say stuff.
This is an emergency transmission. We have confirmed signs of renewed Dark Falls activity. We are preparing an interception operation. Please prepare to deploy.
There's get a 60. I hope I'm typing this right, by the way. Let's see. 60-day warning before. I think 60 days is a pretty reasonable amount of time to be away. Okay. We'll just keep that there. Alright, let's see. Alright, this is the first... Wait, is this the first time you see me play this game, by the way? Because again, this isn't exactly my favorite game. This really was a so-so game. This game was very similar to just swimming above water. I mean, looking for me, the content they're about to provide is actually not too bad. But I kind of want to turn the stream off because the rant is technically over. And I've already addressed my issues and stuff like that. And I can't really think of anything else more to talk about, really. I might just open up a second stream. is what I'll probably do. Cause I just don't want to bore you guys with playing Phantasy Star in the first place. I mean, all you have? Okay. Cause I barely look at Phantasy Star content to begin with. It really is just the people who commentate on the game, the informative wise or comedy wise. I look at that. Actual play in the game, unless of course it's a brand new player who's just, just playing the game. Sure, but that grinding stuff, oh man, that stuff is boring, wicked boring. Let's see, but I do have a chance to find a new alliance member. Possibly. It all comes down to right here. So tell you what, if you're still going to stick around, like I said, I'm going to close the stream because it's been about 26 minutes. And it's been a little bit of fluff, but again, a lot of this stuff is streamed and not really coordinated and stuff like that, but and I'll probably get my point better across later on, so if you wanted to just swing right back, we'll totally do that. I'm gonna just hit on this one last player real quick before I leave and come back. While checking the equipment, by the way. Because it still blows my mind this guy hasn't gotten better armor yet. Level 75 and you haven't decently to get the better armor. To perform better. Shame. Let's see. The guy's terrible, by the way. Okay weapon, but terrible.
So, how are things?
Alright, anyway, be right back. Gonna, fix the stream. Gonna set up a second stream right behind this.